Okay, so when we're dealing with kinematics, there are 4 strategies that we need to apply that are sort of hidden. They're hidden in the fact that teachers often don't teach them and they're very rarely explicitly taught, but it's expected that you will do it. You'll logic your way through. So the first time is, anytime you've got a change in acceleration or direction of travel, you must break up into parts. So anytime, for example, a very common problem is where you're throwing something up and then it is coming down. There are 2 parts to every one of those problems. Throwing it up, stopping, and then coming back down. Happy with that?
Yeah.
If that's not the case, if you throw an object from the ground and it hits the ground, what's its change in its distance?
0.
0 metres, correct? So that's why we need to break it up into 2 parts. The second point I'm trying to make is identify what you know in every part. Same thing for all these kinematics problems. Identify, I know T, I know A, I know VI. I need to find the others. And often when you're breaking a problem into multiple parts, the first part will reveal information for the second part. That leads us to number 3. Often one of the things that we definitely don't explicitly teach is that the V final in part 1 or in a predecessing part is often the initial velocity in the next part. So if I'm throwing an object up and it stops and then it comes back down, what's my VF in the way up? When I throw an object up in the air, what's its final velocity on the way up? What's its initial velocity on the way down? Because that halfway point represents the point where it's stopped. Stops going up, starts coming down, and the VI is 0. And again, for when we are decelerating, throwing an object against gravity or moving against an acceleration, the final velocity is very often stationary. Not always explicitly stated in the question. Might be assumed. So keep those 4 strategies in mind. It's probably a very good idea to write them down on maybe a post-it note when you're solving these problems, and identify, have I done these things when I'm dealing with a multi-step problem? Good luck.